Hi guys, welcome back to AstroShed. My name is Stuart. Now, for any of you who've watched my channel before, you probably remember about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I did a video on the Prima Luce Giotto automatic flat field panel. It's a bit of a mouthful. And I wasn't too impressed with it for a number of reasons: cost, weight, a few other things I wasn't totally happy with. I did buy it to use on my scope. And I've subsequently sold it. And in that video I actually said I was going to be doing a review on the Deep Sky Dad version of the auto flats panel, motorised flats panel. Now again, I bought this with my own money. This is to use on my own Esprit 100 scope. It's not a sponsored review at all, so I can say anything that I want about it. I have owned one of these before on a previous scope and I was very impressed with it. So I pretty much knew what I was going to get. Anyway, it has arrived and this is it. Absolutely superb, fully 3D printed quality. I won't bore you obviously with the unboxing. It does just come in a plain cardboard box, well packaged. This is, well, it's an incredible design. The fact that it's all 3D printed, obviously apart from the servo motor and the actual flats panel itself. I'm very impressed. I don't know what printers they use, but I think I need to get one for myself. So yeah, so this is the version for my Esprit 100. The design is slightly different from the last one I had, in that now they've got the ring that attaches it to the scope, to the dew shield, is actually removable by 2 screws and 2 locking clips. So this ring can be changed to fit a number of scopes. I'm guessing that the Esprit 100 that this is for is probably about the maximum this will fit, but obviously it will fit a lot of smaller scopes as well, just by changing this attachment ring to a different one. So that's a great addition, whereas before if you wanted one for a different scope you had to buy a complete new unit. There wasn't parts on it that were interchangeable. So that's one thing that's changed since the last one that I owned. A few other things, they've also put a lip on the actual flats panel itself, so it's more like a dew shield cap when it shuts, and it shuts around the outside of the ring itself, which is a nice touch. Same as before, there's 4 magnets on there which coincide with the 4 screws on here, which, if you can hear it, just snaps it shut so that you get a good seal all the way around, which again was the same as the previous one. The wires are a lot more well hidden now. They actually go up inside the actual arm of the flats panel here rather than being on the outside. So this is the only bit of the wiring that you see. The control box, again, USB micro in, 12 volt port, and also I think that's a port for something that they're producing in the future. I'm not sure. It doesn't do anything on this particular model. A temperature sensor I think it's going to be for, because I think they do some with that have actually got a heated ring in here. Actually, I think it is acts as like a dew heater. I think something like that, but that's basically been put on here, but it's not actually going to be used. It's for future development. Like I say, this is for the Esprit 100. They do a full range of these, and if they haven't got one with a ring that suits your scope, if you send them the diameters, they will produce one. They're absolutely brilliant. They reply to messages very quickly. Very impressed. Can't fault them at all. And they have a range of products as well, not just the automated flats panel. They've got a range of other products, so I'll put a link in the description to their site, and it's well worth checking it out. Okay, so as I say, it's a servo motor. It opens fully all the way around, and it also magnetic to hold it shut there. There's a metal pad there, self-adhesive pad, and there's 2 magnets on the bottom there. So as it comes round again, it snaps shut, just so it doesn't fall, because if it doesn't actually get the magnets, it will actually, don't know whether you can see that, it's very slowly fall under its own weight. So the magnets just hold it. Obviously you can fit it in any orientation on your scope. It doesn't matter. On my particular scope it's going to have to go to the side because I've got long rails top and bottom, and that'll foul the rail, so I'm going to have mine fitted to the side, which will alter the balance slightly, but I can compensate for that. That's not a problem. The other nice touch with these, which you didn't have on the Prima Lucia model, was a manual opening button. So you don't need to have USB connected. As long as you've got power connected, you can just press the manual button and it will open, press it again and it will close. So you don't need a computer to control it, which again is great. Like I said before, the build quality is superb, all 3D printed. The cost around 350 UK pounds. I think it's cheaper obviously if you're living in Europe, and probably cheaper in the States as well, knowing their prices over there. So that's almost a third of the Prima Lucia model that they did. A third of the price, probably around a quarter of the weight, nowhere near as bulky. It's going to be much better. Even the actual clamping knob there is 3D printed, which I think is a nice touch. Which is the other thing with this one. This is, like I said, this is for the Esprit 100. And for any of you eagle-eyed people out there, you've probably noticed that there's a lip of felt in there which doesn't go all the way to the end. Well, that's because on the Esprit 100 there's a lip on the end of the dew shield around 8mm wide. So if I hadn't got that felt on, what would happen is it would only clamp to the actual lip of the scope, which means it's only gripping by 8mm all around, which is fine, it's not a problem because this lip here is obviously flat. I've decided to put a run of felt round there so that this will grip the lip here and the felt will fill the gap in behind it so it will grip the tube. But when you actually buy these for the Esprit 100, in fact for any scopes that have got a lip on the dew shield, because there are others, they actually send you these spacers, and there's 3 different sizes. It's actually the smallest one, which I think is around, it's under 1mm in thickness, just slightly, that was for the Esprit 100. But these actually slide in at the back just to fill the gap up so that you've got full contact all the way around the end of the dew shield, which again is a nice touch. These are 3D printed and they're absolutely great considering how thin they are. So yeah, if you do have a scope with a lip on, don't worry, it will still fit okay, because they will supply the relevant spacers there, which would just, if that was fitted to your scope, the spacers would just slide in that way around, sorry, the spacers would just slide in and fill the gap in there where I've put the felt. That's where the spacer would go in and the front bit would grip the lip of your actual scope. So it's a good solid ring. I mean, it's around 20mm wide and I think 15mm thick, and like I say, there's 2 screws there and there which you can take out, and then this ring slides up, comes up, so it's fitted around this. It can't just pull off, it has to be 2 bolts and then it slides off, so this can be changed for different size ones. So I think that's a really good improvement on the design for their benefit more than anything. It means they haven't got to produce so many different models. They can use the same flats panel for a lot of different scopes. The flats panel itself has around I think it's 4,000 settings, which, yeah, 4,000 is a lot. So for software like Nina, the dynamic exposure setting, you can just literally pick the exposure length you want for your flats. In my case, I pick 4 seconds, and with having so many different brightness settings, it will find the correct exposure, the correct brightness to give you those 4-second flats on any filter. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, 4,000 settings is just incredible, to be honest, and it works as well as any other flats panel I've used. It works as well as the Prima Lucia Giotto one. That flats panel, I couldn't fault it. It did its job, no problem at all. And this is exactly the same. It's everything else about this that I like better than the other one. You do get the USB cable with it. I think it's a metre long USB cable. Yeah, 1 metre USB micro cable to a normal USB, and it's 12 volt power that this requires in here, not 5 volt, it is 12 volt. So yeah, so that's my review of this Deep Sky Dad automated motorised flats panel. And I can't rave about it enough. I know I've said this, I've gone on a bit about it, but it is absolutely superb in every way. And compared to the other one that I reviewed, well, there's just no comparison. This will be going on my Esprit scope in the next week or two when I've got it set up. And this I'll be using for the foreseeable future. And no need to worry about flats, and also dust cover as well when it's shut. So I hope that was of some use and you enjoyed. If you did, then please consider subscribing if you've not already. If you have, thanks for subscribing, or at least give me a thumbs up. It all helps. Thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And clear skies, and I'll catch you in the next one.